everyone, welcome back to the Lost Eternal Everything Action RPG and a podcast, except I do extra video editing and all that shit, because I'm amazing. But nah, for realsy guys, sorry about the delay on the episode. Let's jump straight into it anyway. So today we're going to be talking about Lost Ark, Lineage Eternal, a little bit of Diablo 3, some Smilegate stuff, a bit of everything, so let's get into it. Now, I want to start off with some bad news so we can get into some good news. So the closed beta for Lineage Eternal has officially been delayed once again for the third time. So NCSoft essentially released their Q1 report, and I'm going to jump into some details about that. But yeah, it was supposed to come out Q1 and Q1's gone. So they pushed it forward to Q3. I'm not making any comments on this anymore because they've delayed it, 3 times or so. I just can't take anything that they're saying seriously in terms of a release date. But I didn't want to talk about this in general because I think that, it's a bit silly because these games have been, in development for so long, and I think I understand now why Blizzard Entertainment have the, the no release date policy. Like, you can check out things like Overwatch and their most recent title. It'll say something like, game is expected to release on this date, or something along those lines, where they don't define it 100%, but also they announce the game a lot more closer to the actual finished product. For example, I remember when Overwatch very first got announced at BlizzCon, and don't worry, we're going to jump into the action RPG stuff soon. This is just to make a point, but remember when Overwatch was very first announced, within 4 hours I made a video and uploaded it, and I went back and viewed that video the other day, and the gameplay and almost everything is exactly the same from the outside in terms of like visual stuff as what the game is now. And I'm sure it's gone through heaps of changes and that kind of stuff, but the gameplay genuinely was there. So yeah, no, it's interesting. NCSoft, delaying Lineage Eternal. I think their Q1 says a lot about what they're thinking and why they would delay the game again. So here we go. If you want to know some details about the company as a whole, essentially they've got a shitload of games, guys, not just Lineage and Lineage 2, hopefully Lineage Eternal this year, but their global reach has gone up 8% in 1 year. So they've actually boosted their reach, which doesn't seem like a lot, guys, but for global reach, up 8% in 1 year, it's a big deal. But what you need to know is that they're making most of their money as a company from Lineage, as in like the very first game. Not even the sequel, Lineage 2, makes as much money as the original. So you can understand why they really, really want to get this game good, considering that, they've got a lot of games that do generate money, but having the first so successful, the second not as successful, they're probably a little bit bruised after that. They probably want to make their latest version of the game the most successful, because older games are definitely a ticking time bomb. These guys kind of understand that too. There's only so long it'll maintain player interest, if that makes sense. Like, you might be still passionate about the game, but it gets to a certain point where the game starts to turn into like Tetris, where it's just, it's not a viable game compared to what's out there anyway. So I can see why they are delaying it a lot, and hopefully, we get the closed beta out very soon. Okay, so I wanted to talk about character creation in Lost Ark, because I wanted to know what you actually expect from it as a player. Now, I'm mentioning this because the two different angles that the game's going right now for is action RPGs and MMO. Action RPGs don't really care too much about character customization. MMOs, on the other hand, it really is a huge part of the experience. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about the customization in Lost Ark in the future? Currently, all we know is that it's gender locked. There will be some like color choices that can actually apply to your character. We'll just have to wait and see. I know a lot of you are pissed off about the gender lock thing, if that actually does come. And by the way, guys, this is just like info from, ages ago, so it could definitely change. For me, I honestly don't care too much. Hey, like, I like being able to just play a character. I can see the gender thing. I can see that as a thing, because it's like, it's not a massive, huge change to the game with like 40 different hair color tints, and it's just, male and female. I guess how would the armor and all that kind of stuff look on the characters as well? There's probably a lot more to it, but reason why I'm mentioning all of this stuff to you guys is because of Tree of Savior. I think as an MMO, I don't think Tree of Savior really had the funding as a game to really pull off the customization that they probably wanted. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's not like they're like, yeah, let's have less customization, it's going to be better for the game. This clearly, obviously was not the case, and they just didn't really have the funding. But Smilegate, Tripod Studios, Lineage Eternal, NCSoft, I don't know their funding situation, but they probably do have it in their budget. I'm just going to guess anyway. So before we get into some extra stuff about Lost Ark, some interesting Reddit posts and yeah, that kind of stuff. But I wanted to talk about just Tree of Savior again, because a little while ago I made a video about the game being paid to win, and quite a lot of people got angry, said it's to protect the game from bots and gold farmers. Now, I don't know if you guys have played Tree of Savior recently, but there are gold farmers and bots everywhere, and I won't go into like the economics of it all, but essentially this stuff doesn't really work, mainly because these guys are able to get the game lower than the retail price, which doesn't make sense, but they actually can do this. So that's why it's a big issue in my opinion. And the business model on top of the botting, the gold farming, the hacks in general, kind of hurts. But on the bright side, Tree of Savior are actually combating this as much as they can in a band-aid-ish kind of way, where they're just getting rid of, like, they'll just go 2,000 bots, see you later, you're gone, you're permanently banned. This is a temporary fix. I think for them to actually properly solve this problem, honestly, I don't think they could. I don't think they could actually properly solve this problem. Try and, change the actual coding and the way the game's set up into a way that it has less botting and makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think they could still, like, even Diablo 3 is riddled with bots. So yeah, long story short, I think I've put in about 15 hours in a Tree of Savior and haven't played it since, so it was kind of worth the $9 for me to get early access to share it with you guys. But for free to play game, yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's talk more about Lost Ark. Recently, Smilegate's owner became the 4th richest man in Korea. I won't go into details about that because there's articles everywhere about it. He's a rich dude. He's extremely wealthy. So now there has actually been some movement with Smilegate in terms of a company that isn't directly related to Lost Ark, but it is an interesting move anyway. So Smilegate has essentially invested in Starbreeze, who are going to bring Smilegate's biggest title and, their cash cow, their World of Warcraft, but it's a totally different game, the Crossfire franchise, and adapt it to the Western markets. Pretty good news, knowing that they're going to pick up this game and bring it to the West. Smilegate has also become Starbreeze's distribution partner for Payday and Overkill. Payday 2, sorry. Overkills and The Walking Dead in the Asian market. So what essentially has happened is they've swapped. They've gone, look, Starbreeze, bring out our Crossfire franchise in the West, make it awesome, you got an awesome history with your game development, and we'll bring out Payday 2, The Walking Dead, to the Asian market. We'll do a swapsies. So it's pretty cool. It shows that, the Western developers are trying to get to Asian countries, and yeah, it looks like Smilegate's trying to get over to the West as well. So I thought that was pretty fantastic. Now, there was an interesting Reddit post that popped up, and I hate reading over these type of things because I immediately don't get invested in what they're saying or believe them or anything like that, but I'm going to mention it to you guys anyway, because at least it's interesting to read. So yeah, it could just be a comment just to get said in a video like this one, but who cares? Let's just go over it. So anyway, Grey Warrior is his name. Submitted to the Lost Ark Reddit. You guys know I'm all over that place, and hopefully you guys are too. You should get amongst it. The link will be in the description below, but basically says, hey all, just thought I'd pop by and drop a post as someone who is mucho excited about Lost Ark. I'm a game developer that recently started working for a company, Radiant Worlds, developing the MMO sandbox Sky Saga. Anyway, he goes on to say the reason that he's interested is that Smilegate is co-publishing Sky Saga along with Radiant World in the West and exclusively in the East. So they have got the exclusive deal, according to this guy, which throws back to what I previously said about, Payday 2 and The Walking Dead. Now, I know on good authority, obviously, that Smilegate are very eagerly ramping up their market in the West, which gives me hope that Lost Ark will be coming to the West in a good time frame. And by the way, I can confirm that, yes, Radiant Worlds does have a publishing deal with Smilegate, so whether this guy's part of their team or not, I don't know, that's totally up to you to think about. So yeah, I really like this, guys. It's interesting. There's one more sentence here. As I say, it's just a hope, not confirmation. I haven't had direct communication with Smilegate, but I know they are very eager to expand their Western market, seeking other potential Western developers to invest at events like GDC, E3, and hopefully this means they will also be keen on bringing Lost Ark to the West soon also. So there it is, guys. Some pretty cool stuff. You know, no fact checking on this whatsoever. This could be, you know, you could honestly jump on Reddit right now and post this and I'd probably read it out. So that's like the limitations of what this is, but if it is true, it's cool, so I thought I'd mention it. Alrighty, now let's jump on to some Diablo 3s, because I have actually been playing it for the last day or two, honestly, just for like meditation purposes, like just sitting there and just like, like, you know your TV face when you watch TV, or you look at someone else watching TV and they just sit there with their mouth open. But it is interesting to go back to the game, and essentially I'm just like kicking around until Overwatch comes out. But yeah, Diablo 3 had its 4th birthday, and I actually made a video about some of the cool things that I'd like to see in the game, which I hope you guys checked out. If you haven't, go and check it out. It's interesting because I went back to a thread post that I posted, a forum post that I posted years ago, and it was in the Australian New Zealand thread, and it was essentially like, hey guys, I'm starting a clan, come and join. And it was the biggest hardcore clan in Australia and New Zealand within like a month, so it completely blew up, and it was just an awesome experience, because you got to remember, I got into YouTube through Diablo 3. It was the gateway for me to get into YouTube. So I am really thankful for that. The old thread, after years later, the clan's since been, you know, disbanded and all of that stuff. But the community is like completely dead now. And I actually, you know, sent a message and said, you know, hopefully when the expansion comes out, if there is an expansion, or Diablo 4, if we want to stretch that far. Yeah, I really look forward to having the community come back together and be strong again in Diablo 3, because it sucks watching it collapse. I don't know. It's just sad to see that you can have such a thriving community that's buzzing into just whatever now. So above and beyond that, I did want to talk about, if Diablo 3 does bring out an expansion, they announced it at this BlizzCon and say it comes out in May next year, do you think the expansion is going to be good enough for you to get back in the game if you previously played it? Or maybe you're a Path of Exile fan and you want to have a crack at D3. Is, let's just say, one new class, one new act, new level cap of 80 instead of 70, a new round of items, is that enough for you? Essentially the same as the previous expansion. Will that get you into the game again? I'm genuinely interested, because, you know, I really feel like I don't think that's enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll get into it and play it for 2 or 3 months and have a great time, but, you know, a year or 2 years after that, will it still hold my attention? Fuck, definitely not. But I want to hear what you guys think about it. So yeah, essentially, you know, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and there's nothing to explore right now, and we're just kind of hanging on to hope with it all. So BlizzCon is in November, Q4, by the way. So curious about if they will announce something. That's probably when it will happen, but they do announce stuff at other things like Gamescom and that. They have in the past anyway. So there you go, guys. Lineage Eternals beta has been pushed back to Q3. Smilegate is doing a little bit of publishing in the East for, you know, Western games. And, you know, rumor on rumor, they might actually be ramping up their Western release schedule, which is always fantastic. They did chuck on a couple of staff that do require to be English speaking or Korean. There it is, guys. A little bit of movement happening with these games. Now, before I go, guys, I did want to talk about why I am doing Lost Ark and Lineage Eternal content again. And the reason is because, you know, I get a little bit of flack here and there about, you know, covering these games that have such little information. And what I found is that on a weekly schedule, I am able to put together content that is new and exciting to me anyway, and hopefully it is to you guys. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I really feel like these games, you know, aren't that far away in my opinion, and I want to make sure that, you know, I can keep the hype alive and entertain you guys who want to have a weekly discussion about it. it, because when the game gets launched, I guarantee everyone is going to be all over them. And to know that, you know, when the game's up, people get on it, but, you know, when the game's not doing so great or doesn't have these major press releases on a weekly basis and requires a little bit more digging, then I can provide that hype and entertainment and weekly discussion anyway, because no one else will. And I like it too. That's why I do this, guys. Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know that, because, you know, I do sometimes cop some flack for it. I honestly couldn't care less. You know, this is an action RPG show, and that's what we're going to be doing in the future. So yeah, if anyone hates, dislike and move on. You won't have to wait another week for the next episode from now. It'll go back to the usual schedule, so it'll come back a couple of days early to realign the schedules again. Sorry about the delays. Catch you next time, guys. See ya.